So we're going to start actually lying down, coming onto your back. Any way you're comfortable is perfect. You can be in Shavasana if you'd like. You can be in Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together. Or my personal favorite, constructive rest, where your feet are planted on the mat about as wide as the mat. Knees are knocked into the midline, supporting one another. Whatever you do, just take these first few moments as you arrive on the mat, as you put the world on pause for the next 45 minutes or so. And just recognize what it is to be held up, to be supported. You didn't have to do anything special to deserve this support, to earn it. It's just there. In the theme for this week, the third of the 5 yamas, Asteya, is nonstealing. And the idea for all of these is not do not steal. It is to be living in a space of non-stealing. Patañjali describes it as a state of non-stealing or a state of truthfulness. And that means that anything that is not ours, anything that we do not directly possess, and even anything that we do possess but don't use, that someone else could use. All of those things take us out of the non-stealing space. So, during our flow today, just sort of plant that seed of what that might mean to you first, but how do you pay for a breath? How do you pay for being held up by the earth? Gratitude is a way. Acknowledgement of the gift. We'll take 3 cleansing rounds of breath together before we get started in earnest. Nice expansive inhale through the nose. Feel the anchoring down through the back, the lifting of the chest. Exhaling with an open mouth. Twice more like that. Inhaling, feeling the rise, the opening of the ribs. Exhaling, maybe a sigh, maybe a sound. And finally, a nice expansive inhale, but this time hold at the top. Sip in a little bit more, feel a little more expansive, a little lighter, and a little heavier all at once, and then let all of that go. Bring your feet in as though you're setting up for a bridge pose, so the fingertips are able to brush the heels, and then lift the 10 toes, set them down one at a time. Feel the spread of the 4 corners of your feet across your mat. And then start to activate that connection by gently pressing down. And as you do that, slowly, mindfully, start to curl the pelvic bone towards the heart, feeling each vertebra one at a time as you click up into a bridge pose. And then once you arrive at the top, slowly returning down the way you came. Of course, the hallmark of Vinyasa style yoga is that we link breath and movement. So as you move through your bridges on your own, I won't cue it in any special way, start to feel the inhale as you rise up. That little moment, that little brief millisecond of a hold at the top, and then tracing back down the way you came on the exhale. A millisecond of hold at the bottom before you return back up. Once you arrive at the bottom the next time, give your knees a hug into the chest. If it feels good, bring the forehead towards the knees. Maybe it'll touch, maybe it won't, but just find that curling through the back. And see if you can send your breath into the space between the shoulder blades. Really inhale. So it's almost like a cat back. It is a cat back. And then on the next exhale, keep the right knee close, but send the left foot long. Release the left heel down to the mat, and then make a choice about your feet. Are they flexed or pointed? And also release the head and shoulders down. And let's take an easy spinal twist here. So slowly guiding the right shin across the body. That right arm can either be out like a T, it can be in a cactus shape, or long beside you. And then again, returning to that support of the floor, feel the floor rising underneath the left shoulder blade, guiding the heart towards the ceiling, softening the right shoulder blade towards the mat. One nice expansive inhale. Deep exhale. Then bringing the right knee back into the center, bend the left knee and plant the left foot on the floor. Cross the right ankle at the left knee. We're coming to a supine pigeon here. So right ankle is crossed at the left knee. You can keep the left foot on the floor or sort of thread the needle, interlacing fingers around the left hamstring or left shin. Totally your choice. And then gently guiding that right thigh out with the right elbow, wherever you are. And once again, make a choice about your feet. Are they pointed? Are they flexed? Nothing is taken for granted here. Inhale. Exhale, let that go. Plant both feet flat on the mat and just give a little windshield wiper of the legs. We slowly wake up our spines this morning. And then once again, hug both knees into the chest. Bring the forehead to tap the knees. As close as is comfortable. Inhale into the back. And as you exhale, keep the left knee close, but send the right leg long. Release the right heel down to the mat. Also release the head and shoulders down. And then slowly, gently guide that left shin across your body. Left arm can be out straight. It can be in a T shape. What matters here is feeling a bit of release, especially through the middle back. This is first thing in the morning when you're doing this, which it is for us, but may not be if you're watching this later. But if it is, feeling that little ringing out helps get all our systems going in the morning. And if you've been sitting all day at a desk or whatever, also it can be nice to reset. One more round of breath, inhaling and exhaling. And then bringing that left knee back to the center, bend the right knee, plant the right foot on the mat, and then make that cross of the ankle at the knee. And again, you can keep the right foot on the floor or thread the needle. Whatever you did on the other side might be the right choice, and it might not be. Very few of us are perfectly symmetrical, so find whatever helps you feel some opening in that left hip space. You can send your breath there, that helps. One more inhale. Exhale, let that go. Plant both feet, make your little windshield wipers. And then crossing the shins, rock along the length of your spine, just rocking forward and back, eventually rolling over your shins, coming to all fours, or cat and cow. Familiar shapes, but always nice, some little reminders. The wrist creases are parallel to the front edge of the mat. Shoulders are a little bit forward of the wrist. Knees are under the hips. and just start to find your breath and your movement. Inhales, pull the heart forward, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. Exhales, tuck the tailbone, round the spine. And whatever movement here feels good, the point is that you're linking breath and movement. So maybe you tap back to a child's pose. I always say this, but I think it's so nice to flip over my hands so the backs of my hands are on the mat. It's such a nice little wrist opener. But if that feels too intense, don't do it. You make little circles. And go ahead and make your way back to all fours. Index fingers pointing forward. And notice if you were to soften your elbows, that they would travel parallel to the edge of the mat. So it may mean actively wrapping them under so the eye of the elbow is pointed out over the index fingers. From here, float the right arm high to sky. Really anchoring down in the left hand, helping to wrap the left ribs under. Maybe look up at the right hand, inhale. Exhale, thread the needle. So the right ear is coming down to the mat. The back of the right hand is off the mat. And maybe you crawl the left arm forward off the mat if that feels good. Notice if your hips suddenly all went to one side and see if you can square them up. There's a decent amount of twisting in today's practice, so kind of letting ourselves get into it little by little. One more breath, inhaling, exhaling, and then untangle yourself the way you came. Float the right arm forward as though you're going to shake someone's hand. Right thumb points to sky, right fingertips point forward, and then float the left heel back in line with the hip. Left pinky finger, or pinky toe rather, points straight down. Look forward like your cow shape, inhale. Exhale, bring that knee and elbow to touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, scoop out the belly, knee and elbow tap. Third and final, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back. This time, inhale and lengthen once more. Set the right hand down under the shoulder, but keep the left leg long as you set the ball mound of the left foot down. Make some little sawing forward and back. Find some opening maybe in the Achilles and in the calf. And we're coming here to a modified side plank. So kick that right shin 90 degrees. Float the left hand up. Left leg is still long. Wrap the right ribs under, lean back, look up. If you'd like, you can float the left heel so you're essentially in a supported half moon shape. Again, make that left foot active. Inhaling. Exhale, bring everything back, come back to all fours. If you'd like, a little cat and cow or a little wagging of the tail to reset. We'll do all of that on the other side. So planting down through the right hand, float the left hand high to sky, and then use the traction of the right hand on the mat to help guide the right shoulder blade under. Look up at the left hand, inhale. Exhale, take your twist, threading the needle. Left ear comes down to the mat. Maybe right hand walks forward off the mat. And then again, if your butt just sort of fell over to the right, see if you can square it up. Couple of breaths here. Remember, this stuff should feel nice. And then go ahead and start walking that right hand back in. Make your way to all fours. Squaring everything up, float the left hand forward as though you're going to shake someone's hand. Float the right heel back in line with the hips, right pinky toe points down. Inhale, get longer. Exhale, knee to elbow, scoop out the belly. Inhale, get longer. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee taps elbow. Finally, get longer, and then set the left hand under the shoulder. Tap the right ball of the right foot down. A little sawing motion here first. Feel a little calf stretch, a little Achilles release. Also nice on the soles of the feet, those plantar's fascia. And now coming into a modified side plank. You kick that left shin out 90 degrees, float the right hand high to sky. Allow yourself to be supported as you lean back, look up, maybe float the right heel if you'd like a little more challenge. Make sure the right foot is active. We build every shape from the floor up, so also keep your awareness of the floor. Inhale. Exhale, reset to all fours. Step back into your plank, and then float hips to sky, downward facing dog. Our first down dog together at least. So take time, check it out. Today's down dog is not yesterday's down dog. Today's legs are not yesterday's legs, shoulders, and so on. So allow it to be different. Allow yourself to be curious about what's going on in your body today. Looking for softness through the tops of the shoulders, looking for energy of the quadriceps pulling you back in space. Heels yearn for the mat, they don't have to touch. You lead a very full and rich life with your feet never being flat and down dog. And in fact, bend your knees quite a bit, pull the heart back in space. Inhale here, and as you exhale, re-lengthen through the legs, kneecaps lift towards hip creases. And then on your next inhale, unfurl your spine, come to a plank position. Then exhale back to your down dog. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, roll forward, just like when we rolled up into our bridge pose. See if you can find that same articulation. Exhale up and back. Inhale, roll it forward. Exhale, float them back. Bend the knees quite a bit. Look at the space between your hands and walk your feet forward to meet your wrists. Bend your knees a lot. We'll start with a little bit of a ragdoll, holding opposite elbows, sway the hips left and right. Feel that release through the spine, through the neck. It's a nice opportunity to soften through the back of the neck. And then releasing the elbows. If you've not done this before, it's going to sound nuts, but bend your knees enough that you can slide your hands underneath your feet. So you actually want your whole foot on the palm of the hand and the toes right in the wrist creases. And then allow yourself to rock forward and back a little bit. It's a nice little wrist massage. So again, you might have to bend your knees a ton. Unless you have some kind of a wrist issue, most of us should be able to do this. You just have to bend your knees more than maybe your neighbor. And then start to, if you'd like, find a little lift of the kneecaps. And if you can, see if you can imagine or become aware of the line of energy that travels up from the floor through the heels, up the backs of the legs, down through the spine, out the arms, and then makes a little closed circuit, reconnecting through the hands, through the feet. Breathe. Then go ahead and slide your hands out from under your feet, soften your knees, roll yourself up to stand, one vertebra at a time, head and shoulders heavy so that they come up last. Walk your feet as close as is comfortable, gather your hands in prayer at heart center, and come back to your breath. If you haven't yet, beginning to cultivate that ujjayi breath, that hollow sonorous breath at the base of the throat. And this is a nice time to set an intention for your practice, a short positive statement for how you'd like to approach your time on the mat today, or maybe how you'd like to approach your time in general. And I think even more importantly, it's a good time to offer your practice to someone else, someone who's not here, whom you think could benefit. Just one nice big round of breath to seal that intention, an expansive inhale, a deep exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, float your hands overhead. And let's stay here in this upward salute for just a moment. Find that lifting up of the front of the pelvis, just like we had coming into bridge, that little scooping out of the belly. And then imagine a line of energy that starts at the pelvic floor and rises up through the heart space. Again, every shape we build from the floor up, so find the connection of your feet. And then can you lean back a bit into your low ribs? Hands can come together in prayer or can be apart. That's not so important. What matters is that you're soft in the tops of the shoulders and that you're finding that lifting from the pelvic floor through the ribs, through the armpits, up to the fingertips. Maybe the arms travel further back. Maybe your head follows the arms. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a flat back. Your hands can come to your shins if you'd like. And as you exhale, step the left foot back, release the left knee down, and untuck the toes. Coming into your crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, float the arms up by the ears. And just take a second here, once again, floor up. So find the top of the left foot, really anchoring you down. Try to energize that connection. And then the four corners of the front foot. See if you can push the mat forward and away, helping to plug that right femur into the hip socket. That also helps square the hips. Inhale here, and as you exhale, take the left hand to the mat and float the right hand to the ceiling. So an easy twist here. If you want a little more challenge, keep the left toes untucked, but press down more through the top of the left foot to hover the left knee. So essentially your left leg is in an upward facing dog shape, really energizing, lifting up, opening up through the front of the left quadricep. Inhale here. As you exhale, bring the right hand to the mat and step back to your downward facing dog. We'll take one round of a vinyasa. As you inhale, make your way forward to plank. As you exhale, lower your knees. They will land south of your hips, and then lower your chest and your chin. Ashtanga Namaskar. As you inhale, pull the heart through, release the belly down, baby cobra. And let's stay here in the baby cobra just for a moment. If you'd like, you can walk your hands off the mat. But feel an anchoring down in the low belly and a lengthening out of the low back. Soften the glutes so they're relaxed. This is not about squeezing your butt. Inhale, and then tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal at the heels, come into your shape. Maybe it's different than it was last time. Allow yourself to be curious about that. Maybe it's not. Coming back into stillness, the inhale lifts the right heel high, down dog split. If you'd like, bend the knee and stack the hips. Notice if all of the weight suddenly though goes into the left hand, and see if you can square your heart to the mat. And then find that nice stretch from the right knee through the right hip flexor, down through the heart space to the mat. Re-square your hips, right pinky toe points down. Inhale. As you exhale, bring the right knee to the nose and step it between the hands. So you're in a runner's lunge. Find your feet, find your grounding, float arms by ears, high lunge. Activating through that left quadricep. Again, soft to the tops of the shoulders, maybe the low ribs lean back a little bit, maybe the arms travel back, maybe the head follows the arm. Option here to stay like this, or to take a prayer twist. So hands come into prayer, hook the left elbow outside the right knee, super active in the left leg. And then the energy of your palms pressing into one another guides the heart towards the thumbs. You're more than welcome to stay like this, or if you want a little more heat, use the next inhale to tap the left knee. Use the exhale to squeeze it straight and strong. Twice more. Inhale taps the knee. Exhale floats it. Third and final. Inhale tap. Exhale straighten and release the twist. Now push off the ball of the left foot. Exhale forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bow. As you inhale, press down, root to rise, hands meet overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. Take a moment, come back to your breath, back to your intention, pedal out the heels if that feels good. And then set up your feet, find that connection first. Float the arms overhead as you inhale. Again, we'll take about 3 breaths here this time. If you'd like, hands can come into prayer. Triceps are by ears. Start from the floor, trace your way up. Lift up, inhale. Exhale, bow. Inhale, find a flat back. As you exhale, step the right foot back, release the right knee down, untuck the toe. Floating up into your crescent lunge. Taking the time here to find the shape on this side, not taking for granted that it will match whatever the other side was. Energizing through the top of the right foot, energizing through the 4 corners of the left. Look up, inhale. As you exhale, right hand comes to mat, left arm floats high to sky. If that feels like it's a bit intense or that left shoulder is starting to burn up, you can always take the left hand to the left thigh. And then from here, if you want the extra challenge, press down through the top of the right foot, hover the right knee. So the right leg is in upward facing dog. Breathe, look up, inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down, step back, downward facing dog. One round of a vinyasa. Inhale, roll forward to plank. This time you can either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Then rolling over your toes, upward facing or cobra. And then downward facing dog. Breathe, come back to the shape. Remember, down dog is meant to feel like rest. If it doesn't, then child's pose is always okay. Maybe if you find a little extra energy in the pinky finger side of the hands, a little extra wrapping under those elbows, it might help. Floating the left heel high to sky, down dog split. If you'd like, bend the knee and stack the hips. Lots of energy of that lifting up to create a nice stretch through the left hip flexor, on down through the heart. Breathing, re-squaring your hips, left pinky toe point straight down. Inhale here. Exhale, bring that knee towards the nose and step the foot through. If the foot doesn't make it, just grab the ankle and bring it up. Grounding down through the feet, floating the arms. Take a second here to find this higher lunge, activating through that right quadricep. Option to take a prayer twist. Hands come to prayer, hooking the right elbow outside the left thigh. Then using the energy of the palms to guide the heart towards the thumbs. If you want the extra little bit of heat building, we'll tap that right knee 3 times. So use the inhale to tap the knee down. Use the exhale to squeeze it up. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift, nice. Inhale, releases the twist, whoa. Exhale, push off the right foot, forward fold to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold and stay. If it's comfortable for you to bring the big toes to touch, great. If you'd rather they be hip width apart, that's fine too. Bend your knees a lot so that your upper body is kind of in a child's pose with your chest resting on your thighs. Hands are comfortably on the floor. Now start to find a little scooping out of the belly. Again, just like when we came into that bridge, that the front of the pelvic bone starts to curl towards the heart, which causes the tailbone to begin to drop. Setting up for your chair pose, draw the thighs together and then float the arms by the ears. Utkatasana, lightning bolt. Look up between your hands, inhale. As you exhale, coming to that prayer twist to your right, so hook the left elbow outside the right knee, and then check out your knees. If they went all cattywampus, see if you can square them up to help square the hips. So this is going to be a big transition. It might not be for everybody, but if you can, look down at that right foot for stability, and then float the left heel to the left glute. Keep the thighs squeezing together. Then step the left foot back, arriving in your revolved high lunge. That seems like a bit too much. You're probably right. So just get there however you need to get there. Find the shape again. Breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. And then cartwheel your arms open, warrior 2. Setting up your warrior 2, heel of the right foot bisects the arch of the left. Softness in the tops of the shoulders, but energy in the fingertips. And then notice if that right knee wants to collapse in and guide it out. Flipping the right palm, reach forward and paint the sky, peaceful warrior. Left hand can come to the right hip crease. You can travel down the left thigh, whatever feels good. Look up under that right armpit if you can. Get long through the side bodies. Keep your upper body as it is, but straighten the right leg. So now you're in a reverse triangle. Take note of what that length feels like through those right ribs. We're coming directly into a triangle pose, so start to float the right arm out. Focusing on the length of the right side body, right hand lands wherever it lands. That's totally unimportant. And then just like all of our twists, whatever's connected to the floor, use that as traction to help open the heart to the ceiling. Look up if that feels good to you. You're more than welcome to stay like this, or you have the option to come into a half moon pose. If you're coming into half moon, start to soften through the right knee, Right hand comes to the floor or to blocks if you have them. Wobble as much as you need to, I am. But it has the same alignment as triangle pose. So essentially, most of your body still thinks it's in triangle. Inhale here. And then start to soften the right knee. Exhale, warrior two. Beautiful. Inhale, and their next exhale takes you into a flow. Hands frame the front foot. Step back. Take a vinyasa or skip it. You're more than welcome to skip what needs skipping. You're more than welcome to add things too. If you want more push-up-y things, do more push-up-y things. Won't hurt my feelings. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the right heel high to sky, down dog split. As you exhale, bring the right knee to the right tricep. Hover here just for a moment, scoop out the belly, active left leg, and then step the right foot outside the right hand. So you're in a nice high lizard here. You have the option to come down to the forearms. You have the option not to. You also have the option, if you really are looking for some more fire, to thread that right shoulder underneath the right thigh. Maybe walk the fingertips wide, maybe airplane. Let's see if you can keep the integrity of the lizard shape. Breathe. And then making your way slowly back, planting hands down. We're going to come from here into a malasana squat. So find the left foot and then float it outside the left hand. Sink the hips. Notice if you're just slouching down into this shape, press through the four corners of the feet, lift up through the pelvic floor, energize to the palms. Your elbows press the knees out, the knees squeeze the elbows in. You can keep your hands in prayer, or if you want more challenge, float them by your ears. We're just going to make our way to stand. So pressing down through the heels, rise up. Pull your prayer to heart center, mountain pose. Breathe. Find the connection to the four corners of the feet. That sense of pulling the mat apart with the pinky edges. Arms are long by your side. Energize to the fingertips as well. And then on your next inhale, chair pose. Sink the hips, raise the arms. Find that little scooping out of the belly. Maybe look up between your hands as you inhale. Prayer twist to the left as you exhale. Looking that right elbow outside left knee. Taking a moment just to check out that the knees are in line with one another, which means that the hips are in line with one another. So we're going to make our way back to that revolved high lunge. I encourage you to look at the left foot for stability. Keep the thighs squeezing together. Float the right heel to the right glute, and float the right foot back and land. Whoa, I nearly fell. You can nearly fall. It's unimportant. What is important is that you're active in that back leg, and that you're active in the connection of your elbows traveling away from each other, heart traveling to thumbs. Beautiful. Inhale here. As you exhale, spiral open, warrior two. Good. Really energizing in the blade edge of the back foot. Checking out that your hips are square, that left knee is traveling over the left middle toe. Flip the left palm, reach forward, and then up and back. Peaceful warrior. Peaceful warrior and humble warrior are my two favorite names of poses, I think. I think it's a nice idea to move through the world as a peaceful warrior. Start to straighten the left leg, find that reverse triangle. Find all that good length through the left ribs, breathing into that space, those intercostals, and then start to float the left arm forward as you send the right hip back, arriving in your triangle pose. Right arm floats high to sky. Finding any connections you have with the floor, use that traction to help open the heart, leaning back, wrapping left ribs under, maybe looking up. You have the option to stay here or to make your way into your half moon shape by softening through the left knee, bringing the left hand to the block or to the floor. What matters here is the alignment. So, shoulders stacked, hips stacked. Inhale. Exhale, nice lunar landing. Soften the left knee, float it back, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, take your flow. Hands cartwheel down, step back, take or skip your vinyasa. Whatever feels right to you is perfect. Beautiful. Breathe. Lift the left heel high to sky. Inhale here and exhale, left knee to left tricep. Active right leg helps get the left knee higher. Then step that left foot outside the left hand. Setting up for your lizard on this side. You can release the right knee down. You can release the forearms down. You can thread your left shoulder underneath the left knee. So you're wearing your left leg like a backpack. One option is not better than the other. We take progressions in order to deepen the practice, sure. In order to challenge ourselves physically, sure. But also to explore how it is we approach difficult things off the mat. Go ahead and make your way back. Palms are planted, right knee is up. Activate through the ball of the right foot, push it out, Malasana. Give those hips a moment to rock out. Find that little lifting up out of the pose by grounding in the heels. Again, you can keep your hands in prayer or float them by your ears. We come to stand, slowly press down, lift up as you inhale. Exhale, mountain pose, gathering the feet to touch. The crazy stuff is done, so find your feet and back to your breath and back to your intention. As you inhale, float the arms overhead. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a flat back. And this time as you exhale, step back to a high plank. We'll take Chaturanga down to the mat. You can release your knees first if you'd like, or just lower with me on a count of 5, 4, 3, 2. Allow the forehead to be down. Allow the hips to sway, or you can make a little cushion with your hands. We're just going to take one round of a Shalavasana. Because we're only doing one round, I'd encourage you to keep the tops of the feet and the thighs and the low belly all on the mat. Bring your forehead to the mat, and then you can take the arms along beside you or interlace the fingers behind you, and then find a pressing down in the low belly to lift the heart. Inhale. Find a sensation, if you can, of pulling the heart forward and then countering that with the energy of the fist. So it's more about pulling forward than it is about lifting up. Lifting up just kind of happens. If you'd like, from here, you can hover the toes. Breathe, inhale. Exhale, let all of that go. So wiggle out the hips, bring either cheek to the mat, take a moment of rest, and then roll onto your back. Give those knees a little hug. And today, just in the interest of time, instead of taking a shoulder stand, I do still want to get a little inversion in. So just straighten your legs to 90 degrees. Soles of feet point towards ceiling. And then anchor your palms on the mat beside you. Open your eyes. Look at the space between your big toes. Again, make a choice about the feet. They can be flexed or pointed, but make them deliberate. And then find a sensation of the low back pressing down. So even though there's nothing directly under your feet, see if you can feel like you're pushing the ceiling away to press the low back down. Just one more round of breath, inhaling. As you exhale, start to hug the knees towards the armpits. Setting up for a happy baby shape. Any option here. So the knees come towards the armpits. You can hold the shins. You can thread your arms inside the thighs, catch blade edges of feet, or maybe peace fingers around big toes. But allow gravity to really pull you down to the mat. Not with any sense of aggression, but with a sense of release. You can rock your baby. Some folks like to straighten their legs here. It should feel good. And if you feel like your low back is peeling up, then see if you can back off a little bit to find that connection. And finally, for the last time, gathering your knees nice and close, maybe tapping forehead to knees, and finding your Shavasana. Take the legs long. Heels can be mat width apart with the feet flopped open. You also have the option of Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together. Maybe blocks or cushions under your outer thighs if you're taking that option. The point is stillness. The point is rest. The point in our state of non-stealing is coming into gratitude for every breath, for every heartbeat, for every beat of sweat in my case. Start to find a little life in your fingers and your toes. Returning to awareness of the mat, awareness of your breath. Slowly walking the feet in, feeling each footprint one at a time, and then rolling onto your favorite side. One pause here in your fetal position to recognize all that is holding you up, none of which you had to ask for. It's just there. And maybe in your mind's eye, drawing a connection between those literal things holding you up and the other stuff that holds us up, that we take for granted. And then, slowly, keeping your eyes closed if it's comfortable, make your way to any seat. Gathering your hands into prayer at heart center when you arrive, calling to mind any intention you may have set or anyone to whom you may have offered your practice. We seal our time together with the sound of one Om. You certainly don't have to. You can choose instead just to focus on an extended exhale. But if you are, I encourage you to find a big open-throated Ah at the back of the mouth, which moves to an O at the center, culminating in an Oo and eventually a hum at the front. One full round of breath first, inhaling fully, exhaling deeply, inhaling for Om. Ah. Bringing your thumbs to your forehead, bowing your chin towards your chest, releasing the knowledge of the mind to the wisdom of the heart. The light that is in me bows to and honors the light that is in you. Namaste.
If you enjoyed this, please be sure to like, share, and follow dailyflow.yoga.